back to my channel if you're new here. Hi, my name is Shawna. If you're not new, thank you for coming back. So if you've been here for a while, you know that I have a scooter, and I get questions a lot ever since that I announced that I got a scooter or a moto in Cuba, and I get questions a lot. So I just wanted to do this video to just break down all the things that you should know before you get a scooter, because I know if you want a scooter, your parents are gonna ask all these questions. So let me just give you the answers so you can just show them this video so you can get a scooter, because we all know that the transport system is ghetto there. You know where it's ghetto, it's horrible. Y'all have seen various videos that I've made about it, being sexually assaulted on it, people thief my phone on it, like just old people abusing me on it. Like, so my choice, well, not even my choice, the good fortune that I have because of my parents, at the fact that I have a bike in Cuba, is the best thing that ever happened to my life. It's the best thing that could happen to me in Cuba. So here are 12 things that you should know before getting a scooter. All right, number one, the most basic of things, the first thing that you're gonna ask: do you need a driver's license? You don't need to have a driver's license in Cuba to be able to get a scooter. You can use your driver's license for your country. If you have a driver's license in Jamaica or whichever country that you're from, you can use that driver's license. If the police stop you, you just hand that to them. It'll be fine. You won't have any issue. The second question: what side do people drive on in Cuba? In Cuba, they drive on the right. Why is this important? Because if you're a Jamaican student watching this, we drive on the left here. It's the right in Cuba, and it will trip you up when you come home for summers and you're driving at home in Jamaica. Just make sure you know your right from your left, and every time you're driving you have to concentrate to remember. But yeah, they drive on the right in Cuba, so make sure you remember that. Do you need car insurance? No. You don't need car insurance to be able to have a scooter in Cuba. You don't even need a license plate, to be honest, once you're an international person or international student. And the main reason that you don't need a license plate is because it's an electric vehicle. You might see some motors with the license plates on it. Usually those are Cubans, but as for international students, we don't need a license plate on your electric scooter. One of my main recommendations is that you find a towing service before you need one. Trust me on this, because I didn't have one, but I had friends who had motors, and it wasn't until my bike broke down and started giving problem, and I'm calling down the whole world, everybody trying to find a towing service that's working. And also additional to that, make sure you have more than one, because sometimes that one is not working and then you can't find nobody else. If you know one, usually they know other people, so ask them to recommend somebody else. Different towing people quote different prices depending. Some are more expensive than the other, some make more sense than the other, so just have multiple in case the day when you need them the most, tow service number 1, 2, 3 not work. You need a helmet. Like, that's a must. You can't have an electric scooter without having a helmet. Not only for safety reasons, but just because the police will pull you over and you will get a ticket. So you need a helmet. They're called cascos in Cuba. Sorry. They're called cascos in Cuba. You're able to buy it on Revolico if you want, or you can get it through Amazon and bring it over. But if you're in Cuba and you don't have time to like order one and ship it down, then you can check on Revolico. You have people who sell the basic ones that you kind of see everybody with. Those are called cascos. They're not super expensive, and most of the places do delivery of the people who make them. In my personal opinion, a GPS is a good investment. If we're being honest, bike thief out of Cuba. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Bikes get stolen quite frequently. It depends though. It's not like you'll just leave your bike on the street and go somewhere in for like 10 minutes and by the time you come out your bike is stolen. No. However, you never know. Maybe you might be somewhere super long, or you don't know who's watching you, and you might park up your bike somewhere unsupervised for a while, and then you come out and your bike is gone. A GPS is useful in the way that when I had my GPS in my bike, anytime that my bike would turn on and wherever it was while it was on, I was able to track my bike. So the minute that my bike turned on, I would get a notification on my phone. Most of the times, I mean all the time, it would be me riding it, But that's useful in case, for example, my bike got stolen. So as long as your bike was on, you were able to track the bike. And wherever it shut off, the last location would ping to your bike because there's a chip inside of the GPS that records the location. So to me, a GPS is a good investment. One thing to note, if you just bought your bike and your bike is still on warranty and you have a GPS that needs to be wired into your bike, wait until the warranty is finished before you do that, or else the warranty is going to be void. Learn from my mistakes. That being said, make sure that you have somewhere safe and reliable to park your bike, to park your scooter. Why I'm saying this? I live somewhere where I have a garage at my disposal, and it's a garage with a automatic door. So like, it's good once I park my bike in there at the end of the night, I'm good. I don't have to worry about anybody coming and taking away my bike. But the fact that bike get thief hard, it's very important that you make sure that the place that you're storing your bike is safe. If you have a two-wheel bike and you live alone or you live on the first floor, you can literally just roll your bike inside of your house and lock your door. However, if you're leaving your bike outside, make sure you have multiple locks on the gate. Make sure that it's somewhere where you can hear if anything is happening, because people steal bikes and steal the chargers, and they've literally done it while people are home inside them house sleeping, and then wake up and then bike gone. It's happened multiple times before. You really have to be careful. That being said, it's important to note that a scooter restricts your housing choices. If you are a student, it is a lot harder to find a house with a garage, like a standing house with a garage, that's renting to students for not a ridiculous amount of money. It's easier to find an apartment in Bedado or an apartment in Playa, in a high-rise building, high-ish rise building, than it will be to find like a home where it's the first floor and there's a garage included in it and you're able to live inside. If you're living with multiple people, then it makes it easier for you to rent more rooms, and there's a likelihood that you can get a garage in that sense. However, most of the times it's apartments renting. All the apartments don't necessarily come with garages. A lot of the times, sometimes there is street parking, and people who have cars, that might not be an issue. But as for somebody who have a bike, that's not ideal. I've lived in apartments before I had my bike, where other people who lived in their apartments would literally lay down a piece of board and roll them bike up into them apartment and roll it down every morning. That's a hassle. The bikes are heavy. So another solution you can do, talk to your neighbors. If you have a neighbor that has a garage, speak to them and ask if you can rent a space or rent a garage to park your bike. The difference with that is you still have to kind of be careful where you leave your bike and kind of hope that you can lock up put your own personal lock on it as well. Because if something happens to the bike or something is gone, they're not going to want to be liable for anything. They're going to be like, oh, well, somebody stole whatever, but we didn't hear it, so ush. So you still have to, there's still some point of liability in that sense. So still be careful with that. Yeah, it also comes with a lot of responsibility. Speak English if you get pulled over by the police. It won't happen frequently, but if they do pull you over, just start speaking English. The reason I say that is that they just automatically be like, oh, it's an extra hero, which is an international person, and they'll just hand you back your license, or they won't even bother asking for documents. They'll just be like, yeah. They won't even bother speaking to you. They'll just gesture you like, just leave. Just leave and stop wasting time. Like, it's not them stop you. So yeah. My next advice to you is to find out all the information and all the gears that you need for your bike before you purchase the bike. So, purpose of this video, you're welcome. You need a bike cover. Like a cover that's going to cover the entire bike, like how you would have a car cover, a bike cover. You can find them on Amazon for like $30. I have one selling right now. If anybody wants it, just DM me on Instagram, let me know, and I will sell it to you. You can find them in Cuba. They're significantly more expensive though than if you bought it on Amazon. They're like $40 that I'm selling them for over here. Way overpriced, like everything is always over here. You don't need a seat cover, but if you would like to be able to protect your bike and allow it to be able to resell at a higher value whenever you're ready to sell it, whenever you're done school and you're ready to sell it back, and you just want everything to look good, buy a seat cover. I think I might have one too, I don't know. Anyways, some people use the phone holders to like hold their phones on the bike while they're going wherever they're going. I have one of those selling as well if anybody wants it. It's never been used because I'm afraid that people snatch my phone off of my bike. So I prefer to just ride where I'm going and look at the street signs till I find my destination. Or if I need to take my phone out, I'll pull over and take my phone out, but I won't keep it on my bike. But I've seen people do that where they keep it on their bike and go wherever they're going. Also get a raincoat. You're gonna thank me for this later, but Havana likes to rain and the bipolar weather can strike at any time. And believe me when I say you're going to need that raincoat, because at some point you're gonna have to drive in the rain. And you're gonna want that raincoat, so buy it. I assure you, buy it. You're better off finding it on Amazon than getting it in Cuba. That's one of the things that it's a little harder to get. But my last point is, most places, be it the supermarket, the hospitals that you're at school for, or just any store or tienda that you might go, they usually have parking attendants. They're usually dressed up in like this red vest, and it's customary to give them like 10 pesos or to pay them 10 pesos for watching your bike. Essentially, sometimes if I go into a store and I'm in there for literally less than 5 minutes, I'm not paying. It's because it don't make no sense. However, they are supposed to be watching your bike. Something that I can say is that when I just got Dolly, my bike is a 3-wheel bike. It wasn't the type that was frequent on the road. There's a lot more of them now. But because of that, Dolly drew a lot of attention to me. Every single time I would go to a hospital or a new hospital for school, the parking attendants would just always be so interested and have this bunch of questions to ask about my bike. Because of that, they always knew my bike. So whether I was at Guardia or I was at school, they always looked out for my bike. And they were also super nice to me. So I appreciate that. The best advice I could give to you is to befriend the parking attendants so they'll know your bike and know whenever you're at Guardia to watch out for your bike, especially if you have like nighttime Guardia or Guardia that finishes off at like 7 o'clock or whatever. They'll know whichever parking attendant is on duty knows, all right, this is such girl bike. So if somebody come and try to claim to be like, oh, that's my bike or whatever, they'll be like, no, that's such girl bike. So yeah, it's very helpful. I hope all of these tips were actually helpful to you guys. If you have any more questions or anything that you feel like I left out as a bike owner and you want to give any advice to aspiring bike owners, leave them down below. Guys, comments. I feel like I haven't seen that many comments in my YouTube videos in so long. I read the comments, you know, like I respond to y'all. Y'all could talk to me in the comments, like, gosh. If there's anything that you would like me to make a video on or any questions or queries, comment them down below. If you have any questions, my DMs are always open. And guys, we're this close to 1,000 followers. Please subscribe and share this video with somebody who you know has been dying to have a bike. And tell them to subscribe. As always, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.